Many years ago, I vowed that I would never ever watch Game of Thrones or anything related to it. It was when Game of Thrones was really popular, and I just had one too many people in my life pressuring me to watch the show, and we all have our faults, but mine is I have a petty streak. And when I feel like I'm being too pressured to do something, I just tend to get really stubborn and just vow to never touch it with like a 90-foot pole. And that's what I did. And then a couple months ago, I had a really bad cold, and so did my mom. I think one of us gave it to the other one, and we were convalescing together. And while I was working on my computer, I looked over and saw that she was watching House of the Dragon. And I was like, Mom, what are you doing? Like, we never watched Game of Thrones. You don't even like fantasy. And she was like, no, it's really good. And I said, I promised that I wouldn't ever watch it. I was kind of like side-eyeing it and going like, oh, that looks kind of interesting. And then I started to really like it, and now it's one of my favorite shows. What usually happens with me when I love a piece of media is I need to make my own design based off of the thing that I love. I'm assuming that most, if not all of us, are Team Black, because the alternative is two of the most maladjusted men I've ever seen in my life. I also love the fashion of Team Black, but green is a bit more of my color. I don't own a lot of black or red, but I do love green, as you could probably tell. Also, of the couple of people who have made House of the Dragon inspired outfits and dresses and gowns, they've done like Rhaenyra or Team Black inspired pieces, and I want to do something a little different. So come along with me as I make my own design and sew my own dress inspired by Alicent from House of Dragon. House of the Dragon. Have I been saying House of Dragon? House of the Dragon. One of my subscribers, Rhyming Mime, recently asked if I would be willing to do a Q&A. And while I'm a very private person, I think that actually sounds really fun. So I was thinking that we would do a Q&A video when I hit 5,000 subscribers as a celebration. We're at 4,000 right now. Thank you so much to every single one of you. So if you would like to see that type of video from me, be sure that you're subscribed so that I can get that video to you guys. It's time to get started on the design. Okay, so there are two dresses that I'm going to base my design off of. First is this dress from when she was young. I really like the straps across the dress. It's just such a pretty detail. And the second dress is this one. I love the placement of the embroidery as well as the larger sleeves. I'm also taking some inspiration from pre-Raphaelite portrayal of medieval dress, such as John Waterhouse and this green beetle dress that was painted by John Singer Sargent. I found yet another free pattern from Mood as my starting point, of course, which is the Luthien dress pattern. The link is in the description. And I could have sworn that originally it said it was a Game of Thrones cosplay, but now it says it's a House of the Dragon cosplay. So they might have changed that at some point, but oh well, it's even more perfect for what I want to make. So I'm going to add all the straps along the sleeve, but I'm also going to make the sleeves wider and add embroidery to the neckline, sleeves, and hem if possible. Lastly, I'm going to make the sleeves detachable, as that will be another nod towards medieval and Renaissance clothing. I'm also just obsessed with detachable sleeves and try to add them to anything that I can. All right, let's move on to the cutting. Okay, here are all the pattern pieces. This took so long to cut out. I usually don't mind like cutting out the free patterns from Mood because they're free, so I'm totally willing to use more of my time. But this one was rough. I feel like I got like halfway through a Crimson Rogue video, so it was like 3 hours, which I think it usually takes like an hour for me to cut out the patterns. So just know that if you don't have an extra century to cut all the pattern pieces out. It is overcast and rainy today, but also so incredibly humid. And I was gonna style my hair, and then I just thought, is it even worth it? So we're not doing that. My hair is just gonna look like this probably for the next month or so. Yay. So I did not thrift my fabric for this because I needed to know that I had enough fabric. So what I did instead is, at this point in my life, I either buy from Target, Etsy, or I thrift. And I'm a Target Circle member. Yes, I am. I got these on super sale. They were like half off. And they're called Lyocell or something. They're like a rayon, but they're kind of silky looking, which I thought was perfect for an Alicent fabric. It looks really gray in this lighting, and I'm sure it looks gray on camera, but there's a little bit of a green blue color here, so I think it'll be perfect. Let's get started. Say hello. Hello, everybody. So the first step when cutting from sheets is of course having to cut off the elastic from the fitted sheet. Probably my least favorite part about using sheets as my fabric. Then I took one of the side sleeves from the pattern and added some construction paper to it to make it more of a bell sleeve shape. I then cut out the center front piece on the fold, giving myself an extra 2 inches of ease because I wasn't sure if the bust would fit correctly and I wanted to give myself some extra space. You can see here that I folded the center sleeve piece and connected it to the side sleeve and used that as one singular sleeve pattern. So I finished cutting out all the pieces, and one thing that I do have to say is that it's very fray resistant, it seems like, which is awesome. It's been a while since I've worked with a fabric that didn't just fray if you looked at it funny, so that's exciting. I will say, just like silk though, it is kind of slippery, so I'm not looking forward to that. The first step I'm going to do is make the lacings for the back of the dress. That's the only place I'm putting lacings in. I'm going to let, as you saw, I'm going to have like a bell sleeve on the sleeves instead of the laced sleeve that the original design had or the original pattern had. But yeah, let's get started. After sewing 2 long strips for both the lacing and the strips along the sleeve, I used my pinking shears to finish the edges and used a safety pin to pull the length to right side out. I then cut off 8 tabs, 4 for each side of the lacing. I then pinned the lacings to the back panel and stitched that down. Lastly, I added the back side pieces to the back piece. Then it was time to attach the front pieces together. Okay, this is so pretty. I didn't catch some of the side seam here, so I'm gonna fix that. And I honestly think I can take a couple of inches out of the back. I added a little and I don't think I need it. So I'm gonna take that out, but I'm gonna kind of make a long dart so that it keeps the volume that I added. But other than that, it's so pretty. So I ended up taking about 3 inches out of the back panel and ended that pleat around the top of the butt, for lack of a better term. So for my baking break, I wanted to make a dish that was slightly inspired by the time period and area that the House of the Dragon is inspired by. And for many, many years before sugar became the predominant way to sweeten desserts, Europeans would use honey instead. So I made a honey bourbon spice cake with a honey coffee glaze. I was just about to start working on the sleeves and I almost forgot that I was going to put a line of like those little tabs across the whole thing. So I have 2 lengths of leftover straps that I did for the back of the dress. I'm just gonna cut those up, finish off the edges as best as I can, and use those as the little, I don't know, straps that go in between the 2 sides of the sleeve. Let's go. Okay, so first up for the sleeves was cutting out facings for the center of each sleeve. I then cut each sleeve down the center. Then I placed half the strips on the sleeve, each about 2 inches from each other, starting 1.5 inches down from the top so that it would be flush with the finished top of the sleeve and ending around my wrist. I then placed the facing on top of that with the sleeve and facing right side to right side. Lastly, I top stitched the seam down so that everything would lay correctly. I then repeated the same steps on the other side, making sure that when everything was turned right side out, both sides would be facing the same way. Do not ask me what my hair is doing. I don't know. It's too hot outside to care. You're gonna have to take it up with her. The sleeves are done, well, mostly done. They look pretty good though. Like, I'm pretty happy with that. I was really scared that this wasn't gonna turn out at all, so yay. I think instead of facing at the top, I'm just gonna flip it under twice and stitch it to the best of my ability. And then, I don't think I've shown this yet. This is my trim that I bought that I thought gave off like really good Alicent vibes. It's gonna go along the neckline, at the ends of the sleeves, and if I have enough, if I don't, not the end of the world, I'm just not gonna add it, but if I do have enough, I'd love to put it around the hem. And then the last step is I saw Morgan Donner work with something like this semi-recently, and she put it onto a dress, and I would love to not put holes into either of these garments because I would like to wear this dress without the sleeves sometimes, and I'm just scared that the holes will be a dead giveaway, on top of the point that there are facings inside the sleeves. But these are like little rings. I couldn't find like corset rings, but I could find, these are like for curtains or something, and I thought they were close enough. So I'm gonna stitch a few of these into every shoulder and top of sleeve, and that way I could lace them on. I'm hoping this can get done today, but I feel like I have this curse of saying I'm gonna finish something in a day and then I just don't. So we'll see. So as I said, I turned the top of the sleeve over twice to create a finished edge. I then clipped the curve on the neckline, turned it over 1/2 inch, and started placing the trim at center back and working my way around. After stitching it at the top, I also tacked down those lower spikes to keep the trim in place. I ended up not having enough trim for the hem, so I just turned it over twice to create a finished edge. Lastly, I placed 4 rings on each sleeve and shoulder, placing them right at the edge and hand stitching them down about 2/3 of the way around, leaving the outermost area untouched for the lacing. And with that, it is time to show you guys the final result. Okay, turning off the air in 3, 2, 1. Go fast. I am so happy with it. It might be one of my favorite things that I've ever made. This lyocell is awesome. It looks so silky, but it's not like as thick as like a polyester silk, so I'm very happy. I'm already getting hot. I do really love this little princess seam dress. I love how wide it is at the bottom. I want to make several. This is my next bug, I think. I had the milkmaid dress bug before. I think I'll now have this medieval inspired princess seam dress. I know I've said this before, but I really think that detachable sleeves need to come back in as a style because, like, look, it might take me a second. Aha! You can just take them off. I mean, like, and they become like this really cute little cape. I love it so much. Why are we not bringing detachable sleeves back? We need to. A fashion designer out there, come on, let's do it. Yeah, I haven't started on it yet. Well, I started researching. Not researching. Researching means finding pictures on Pinterest. I'm gonna do a House of the Dragon costume breakdown once season 2 is done, so stick around for that. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. All those things help me out so much. I hope you had a good time, and I hope to see you back here next time. Bye. There we go. That's a baby height. I don't know. What? That's so It's a crown for you. Can I do your crown on, please? There we go. Oh, that is such a cool. Okay, I need more of your body, but I'll take that from you. Good boy. Here, let's take this off. Yay!